In this lesson, we will be creating an option constraint. You want to have an option constraint if you want to exclude one option when another one is ordered at the same time for a particular product bundle. The benefits to option constraints are that they can be used to set option dependencies and exclusions, and can be used in real-time rule processing, which gives immediate feedback to the sales user. Let's review option constraints quickly. Constraints are placed on products defined in the options related list. They control which options may or may not be purchased together. I've headed straight into a quote because I would like to show you an example of an option constraint that we will go ahead and create. This one deals with the appliance monitoring and real-time analysis products. You'll notice that when I click around through here, that the appliance monitoring product is not dependent at all whatsoever on the real-time analysis product. We want to change around this relationship and make these two products somewhat dependent upon one another. Specifically, we want to make this option constraint so that the product option real-time analysis requires appliance monitoring. Alright, that's quite enough clicking. Now let's go ahead and create our option constraint. Before we get down to business and create our option constraints, let's go ahead and click that blue pop-out menu on the right-hand side. Click Edit Layout. I'd like to customize the option constraints related list really quickly. Click Related Lists. Since our option constraints section exists within our appliance products related lists. Click the Edit tool since we're going to add some columns to our option constraints related list. The following fields will be added to our column: constrained option, constraining option, and type. Alright, click Save and let's return back to our appliance product. Scroll down to the option constraint section. Click New Option Constraint so we can add that use case I was just talking about. The product option real-time analysis that will require appliance monitoring. Let's call this option constraint Analysis Requires Monitoring, since the product option real-time analysis requires appliance monitoring. Click the product lookup in order to enter the constrained option. Now this is the product option that will be constrained by the option constraint. Select the real-time analysis product option. Now this is the product option we wish to constrain since it requires appliance monitoring. Let's add a constraining option. Select the appliance monitoring product option since this is doing the constraining on our option constraint, specifically the real-time analysis product option. Ensure that the active checkbox is selected. This activates the option constraint. Our configured SKU is appliance. This is autofilled. This makes sense because our option constraints are on our product options, which exist on our appliance product. And finally, let's select a type for our option constraint. The type of this use case is dependency. Dependency indicates that the inclusion of an option constraint requires a constraining option. We have our constraining option, which is our appliance monitoring, and we have our constrained option, which is our real-time analysis. Let's go ahead and pick dependency. I'll actually tell you more about exclusion later, so hold on tight if you're super excited to hear about that one. Click Save. Here's what our completed option constraint analysis requires monitoring looks like. Go ahead and click the appliance configured SKU, and this will take us right back to our appliance product detail page. Now that we're on our appliance product page, let's scroll down to our product options section. Just want to change the appliance monitoring product option just so it works in our configuration when we test it out. Click the appliance monitoring option name, which is the one with multiple zeros followed by a 3. It's important you actually click the option name and not the appliance monitoring product, because that will take you to a different page. You'll notice that the required checkbox is selected for our 0003 product option. So we want to deselect the required checkbox. This triggers a problem with our option constraint, so we just want to get rid of this right now so we can test our product option. And click Save. Now that we're finished creating our analysis requires monitoring option constraint, let's go test it out on a quote. I'm just clicking within my recent items list in the left-hand corner. I have a quote I was using before to test out some other stuff. Let's see this option constraint in action. Click Edit Lines so that we can go straight into our line editor. Click Add Products so that we can configure our products. We're only selecting appliance since that contains our option constraint and our real-time analysis and appliance monitoring products. Alright, now I'll show you that you cannot select real-time analysis without first selecting appliance monitoring. You can select appliance monitoring and then real-time analysis becomes enabled and then you can select it, but you cannot first select real-time analysis. Alright, now that's enough clicking. Let's move on to our second product option use case. This use case involves the configuration and professional services product options. So right now, you can select both the configuration and professional services product options at the same time. But we want to create an option constraint that makes it so the product options configuration and professional services cannot be ordered at the same time for the appliance bundle. So I'm going to click through here and show you that you can actually select them at the same time. Navigate to your Products tab so you can begin adding your option constraint. Back down to our appliance product. Before we click New Option Constraint, I just want to point out our option constraint related list layout. As you can see, all our columns are currently in action: constrained option, constraining option, and type. Alright, let's click New Option Constraint and get started. Name this option constraint Config and Professional Services cannot exist at same time. Pick the quadruple 07 configuration product option as the constrained option. Select the 0008 Professional Services product option as the constraining option. Select Exclusion as the option constraint type. Exclusion indicates that the option constraint is not available if the constraining option, which is Professional Services, is selected and vice versa. Click Save. Now we're on our completed option constraint detail page. Let's access that quote we were using to test out our other configuration items. Click Edit Lines to access the line editor. Click Add Products. Like before, we will only be adding the appliance product. Alright, now you'll see with our configuration and professional services cannot exist at same time option constraint. If I select the configuration option, I cannot select the professional services option, and vice versa. If I select professional services, then I cannot select configuration. So I'll go ahead and show you that. For this exercise, I'd like you to create the two option constraints you saw me demonstrate in this lesson. The first use case being the product option real-time analysis will require appliance monitoring. The second use case being the product options configuration and professional services cannot be ordered at the same time for the appliance bundle.